Hey mates, welcome to More Than Meets the Eyes. I'm your host Blind Prime and today is a messy video. Today we're talking about the base mode and I figured why not bring in some other base modes of other things, and I connected some base modes together. I've got Commander class Skylink's base mode attached to the Star Convoy base mode. Let me put my little zapper away. There it goes. Alright, so I wanted to do a little comparison of base modes here and set them up a little nicely. I don't have them all connected because it's a pain to unconnect them. It is straight up a pain, especially this 4 guy here who has the 4 connections around him. I only got one of those. I wish I had picked up more of them because they are pretty useful. So here's a little vehicle. You got a little ambulance that came with Death Source. You can drive down here and drive on a little path there, and then you can drive up into here. And you can be like, hey, what's going on in here? What is going on in here? What is in here? Oh, it's a hot rod. That's what's in there. You can have hot rod standing there. And you can drive a little vehicle up into here. Yeah, little ambulance vehicle can just stay around in here. You could also just hang out over here on the little... I'm guessing this is some sort of medical platform. It feels like treads, though. It's a weird spot. So today we're going to really talk about this stuff and... go in it in depth, as much in depth as I can, and try not to take up too much time, but also do a nice little comparison, because who compares, bases on this platform? Nobody, because they're time intensive, and they take a lot of work to set up, and they can be quite annoying sometimes. So I didn't even set up all the bases. Trypticon's still up there, and Omega Supreme is next to him, because those are 2 bases that are just, if I had set those up, I wouldn't have enough room on this table for the camera, let alone the lighting, because Omega Supreme, his base mode takes up in a full quarter of this table that I am on, and Trypticon is as long as Omega Supreme is wide, so he takes up another big chunk. But those aren't really base modes I have ever really enjoyed, because they're just a little too big. I wish there was a way that those could have smalled down just a bit more. You could collapse them in just a little bit. But what we have here are some really nice little bases, like Skylink's Commander base, which I think is one of the better base modes out there. Simple, easy. We've got the 2 little doors, the 2 little ramps, and then the big ramp that comes down that I connected. And we can set hot rod up here next to this other little door and ramp, and go ahead and... What's going on? Oh, I'm putting you upside down. Good grief. Blind people problems. There we go. We can set him there. So, let's get into today's video and really discuss Star Convoy. That's going to first require me disconnecting a few things. So we're going to set hot rod over here. There you go. Stay there. All right. Now we're going to come over here to Commander class Skylink's base, and we're going to disconnect it from the 4-way intersection, which is his own armor, and then we can just go ahead and fold the ramp down, and then we can set this guy off over here to the side. He won't be in our way. Actually, you know what's best? Okay, just close up those 2 little ramps. I turn him back into Lynx mode, and I set him down on the ground where he won't fall off the table. That is thinking with my smarts, that's for sure. Okay, now we're going to disconnect this 4-step guy, or the 4-way intersection guy. He never wants to disconnect because he's... There it goes. All right, 4-way intersection guy, you're disconnected. This is one of the cooler ones that they came out with for the base modes. I really like the 4-way intersection guy. I didn't think his robot mode was any good, but he was a pretty good one overall, especially for base mode building. So let's get Star Optimus Prime over here. Okay, we're gonna back up his other little area, because he gets 2 areas, and I think that's really fun that he gets 2 little areas that you can separate out. That's actually, in my opinion, the more interesting part of this guy. Let's spin this dude around, and there we are. There he is in base mode. We got the tops of his legs folded over, so that was the thing I forgot to do whenever I was explaining to you how to transform him into base mode. And I forgot, you got to fold the legs over. Then everything works. Everything comes out to be correct as long as those legs are folded out. So we've got his chest over here. It's closed up. It can open, but they didn't really do anything to make the chest opening anything really special. And also, it's really small in there, so you could put a MicroMaster in there. And Hot Rod is just, vehicle mode he's okay, but in robot mode he's just a little too tall. Our ambulance friend here, though, can go into robot mode, and he can showcase exactly what's going on with this thing. If he can go into robot mode. There you go. Good. Break off your little arms, man. Come on. There you go. There you go. Yeah. Little arms. You got your little legs. Got your little legs unfolded? Huh? Yeah. Those aren't unfolded. Oh, yeah, they are. Your transformation isn't the best in the world. You've got the smallest little feet. Okay, so there he is in his robot mode, and if you can tell that little ambulance dude from Deathsaurus can fit in there. Okay, yeah, he fits in there quite well in robot mode. Hot Rod is just a little too big. I don't know what they were doing with Hot Rod. They said it's a MicroMaster, but it's not a MicroMaster. It's like Legend Scale. If Legend Scale and MicroMaster had a baby. So that is the interior. We've got the zone crystal in there. It's really nice inside there. They actually put some floor panels down that I can feel, and there's some wall paneling in there. I really love it whenever they do that with the cool paneling and make it into some sort of command center. Like, it feels like that's actually a keyboard there, and those are some computer stuff. So we can set this guy up on the other side of the zone crystal in there, and he is typing on that little computer in the back. If you would stand up straight, please. There you go. Yeah, type away on that computer in there. I love it. Not you. So that's something you can do on the interior. It's got some really great detailing in there, like amazing detailing. It surprises me how much detail is been hidden inside of the chest piece. So that's something really neat. Let's go ahead and close this up so we can look at the rest of him. And let's close that up. There it goes. So the rest of him is there you got these, his wheel bits that are on the sides, and these actually just kind of hang out here on the sides. Not really much going on except to just give some beefiness to the structure, make it seem like it's a bit bigger, and also, I guess, give the impression that there's elevators that will take you to the inside. So you can imagine they come to the inside of the leg there. There's the leg. So they come walk all the way to the back of the leg. They take their elevator. The elevator takes them up into the body of the craft. Well, that's something. I like the fact that, coming up here to the top of the head, we've got this big wide area where the head is, but if you fold the head down, and all the antennae on the head kind of work as a radar system, or maybe even a laser system for the base. So it just kind of spins around in circles and detects. And I like when people are like, oh, his head's just up there. I was thinking it would be like this, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of annoying. His face is visible, and there's there's not even an attempt to hide. No. There's an attempt to hide. It's just folding him down, and he folds down very well, and then you've completely hidden his face. And I like the fact that his face is completely hidden, and you can use your imagination and turn his head into some sort of laser system, or even better, a radar system. And then, of course, he's got his two cannons on his shoulders, and they spin around quite nicely, and they move up and down. Pretty good. I like the dual cannons. The dual cannons are some of my favorite accessories that came with Star Convoy. Now we're going to move down over here with our little assistant ambulance. We've got his matrix that I plugged into a siege port inside of his leg to give the impression, of a geyser, like exploding out. Ooh, geyser. He's a geyser of power because he's got that zone crystal. So we're going to set the geyser of power off to the side. When you get in here a bit better, you can walk around. I do like the fact that there is some really... There's textures in the bottoms of these legs that symbolize like road work or something like that. You got some metal panels all put together to make a nice little landing area. On the sides of the legs, the ones that we folded out, we've got these interesting texture. It's a very intriguing texture, and I was hoping that it would fold out or something, but it doesn't. It's just there, and it feels like the treads for a vehicle. It's really weird. I don't know what to think about that texture. It it feels like his treads are just backwards or something. I don't understand it. I wish that that area had been some more of that really nice tile job to symbolize a floor. That would have been better in my opinion. Instead, we got this rough texture thing, which I used as a landing pad for Cosmos over here. Got legend scale Cosmos. Woo, 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 woo. He can land in these little landing areas. Kinda. He's a little fat for them, but they work for him. So that's a few things you can do. We got the little doors that you can leave out of. Now you can't walk out the doors because the doors aren't tall enough for MicroMasters to walk out, but they can drive out. They can drive out. And I just like, really? You could have made him just a couple of millimeters taller, or at least wider in the legs, and MicroMasters wouldn't have had a hard time walking in and out at all. But they have to drive out. They have to drive out. Now, can Optimus Prime and his legend scale drive in and out? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that's a no, but we'll find out. Beep, 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 beep. Back in the trailer up into the... Nope. Can't do it. Too tall. His trailer is too tall for the for the gateways. Now you can close up the gateways if you want and kind of be like the fortress is shut down for the night. Please come back tomorrow. Yeah, you can do stuff like that. I think that's fun. Now, there's not really much more to talk about with this guy here. It's all together. He's a big old clumpy guy. And it comes out to be a decent base, but there's not really much you can do with this base that I haven't described. We're going to grab the truck that comes with it, because there is something I want to showcase. Where's that truck? Where did I put that big old truck? Did you go over here, Mr. Truck? Where did it go? Ah, found it. Okay. And I also had a little this is Ironworks and his communications platform. I like that transformation for him. So here's the truck that comes with Star Convoy. Now, this is a little annoying in that the truck can't fit through the doorways because of these siege ports pegs sticking out the side. I'm like, really, guys? You gave us these pegs. You didn't need to give us these pegs. We would have been happy with 4 siege ports and then 2 on the top. That would have been enough, in my opinion. But no, you gave us these pegs, and these pegs make it impossible for him to drive through the doorway. They made him too wide. Like, you had something cool, and then you ruined it. You ruined it. So sad. So sad. So let's go ahead and move that little apparatus. That's his waist guard, his waist skirt, and we can set this thing in there. Now, the trailer for him has these clips on the bottom of it, and those 2 clips actually line up with these big old honking things sticking out of the bottom that ruin the flow of the figure. But they can snap in there, and once they snap in there, it's good. That's held in there. Now you can use the top of the vehicle as another platform. So Cosmos can land on the top of the vehicle instead. And the top of the vehicle just kind of becomes part of the vehicle mode, and it's got its own siege ports, which really helps out because this base mode is severely lacking in siege ports, and that is its biggest negative, in my opinion, is the inability to upgrade it with anything. So that is a big negative on this set, is the lack of siege ports and siege pegs. Now we're going to come over here to this other piece real quick and talk about it. It's the backs, the backs of his legs, his treads. I like the fact that there's this spinny thing. We talked about that earlier. You can rotate this little spinny disc on the one side of it, and the little guns spin around on the inside. I just love that. Pew 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 pew. It's just fun. And I really appreciate that about this set. We haven't gotten anything like that in other MicroMaster sets, so this is amazing, and I love that they did that. It didn't take too many gears to make this happen, and it's just something fun you can do. And that's the stuff that I really loved about the bases that Transformers could become, because there were little things like this little this little gun, and it could spin around. There were little things like that, and that was something fun. It wasn't available in any other mode but base mode, and that proved to you that you were in base mode. So let's go ahead and slide this guy off to the side. Actually, before we do, I knocked everything off it, but I'll clean it up later. I did want to talk about this thing real quick. It's got a little, it's got a piece of ironworks hanging off the end of it. Grab that out. There it goes. All right, so let me set that piece of ironworks off to the side where I can put that where it belongs. I'm sweating. Here we go. So we've got the two more of these little ramps, and they do have the airlock connections. And so there's 4 airlock connections in this transformer, which is a lot. All right, usually you get 1, you get 2, you get a maximum of 3. You know, 4 is astounding. 4 is amazing. And one of the, you know, this thing's got a really nice platform to it. I love the fact that this is just a big old platform where you can pose things, you can have them fight each other. We got another big platform like this in Scorponok. Scorponok was the only other base former to give us a big platform, and you know, a big flat area where you could pose things. And that is something that is distinctly lacking, and I really appreciate that we got this with this one. Even more so, my appreciation goes because you can pull it apart, and then you have 2 separate little base platforms you can put in different spots, and that is amazing. Okay, that's a lot of fun, and that's just something really cool that you can do with this transformer. So let me put the bottom base bit off to the side, because we are done talking about that. And I wanted to, before I end the video today, because there's not really a lot to talk about with this guy, other than what I've already spoken. We're going to set this little ambulance guy in front of the communications platform. So we can drag this thing off to the side. It's not too heavy in this mode. It's pretty sturdy, and I appreciate that in this mode it doesn't take up a lot of space. What are we like? Like maybe, no, we're like 1.5 feet wide by 1.5 feet deep, and it's just a little square area. Of course, it's about 1 foot tall, so it's a nice little play area. And no, I wish there was more that you could do with this mode. It does enough. It does enough. So let's go ahead and do one last comparison. So I'm going to slide this guy over here as much as I can to make sure that we have enough room for the other thing, because there was one more base mode I wanted to talk about with y'all, and compare and showcase the different sizes of, and that's over here. Now this base mode is Black Zarek. Now Black Zarek's base mode is obscene compared to Star Convoy. Black Zarek's base mode also has wheels on the bottom, which makes it really easy to move around. I really appreciate that. In Black Zarek, I have RX-78 fighting Char Aznabel's Zako 2, because you know, I realized, hey, they were about the right scale for Micromasters and Legends and stuff. So I figured, why not put them in? Because if you imagine a little bitty human getting into you know, something like this Optimus Prime, wherever he went, whatever, the Cosmos, wherever he went. Where did you go? Where did all my train? Where'd you go, Cosmos? Here he is. Cosmos! Yay! You imagine Cosmos. You know, Cosmos fitting a bunch of humans. It works. So, make a little Cosmos flying around above them. But I did like that with Black Zarek, you got these cool little door things. I didn't transform it exactly right, but I do love the doors. Now, I should have moved these gold pieces a little closer together, and that would have closed in the gap, and it's all right. Now you can have the doors kind of open. And there, of course, is Zorichi, I think is his name, and he is the headmaster for Black Zarek. It's a fun little set, Black Zarek, but I wanted to compare the size difference between these two, and there is a massive size difference between the two. It is astounding how much more of a base Black Zarek is, aka Scorponok. So my thoughts and feelings on this base when it comes to it, I think that this base mode is it'll get a B plus. Yeah, it gets a B plus. I think that it needed a little more. No. It did get a bit more. A minus. We'll give it an A minus. It squeaks in with an A minus because of the fact that it has this other platform that disconnects. And the platform that's similar to it that is on Black Xeric is what the RX-78 and the Zaku are fighting on. It's just this big area in a courtyard in the middle of the Black Xeric, and I love the courtyard that he gets. And I like this little industry platform with guns that Star Convoy gets. So, if you were wondering, should I get Star Convoy? Is it worth it? My opinion is that the $150 price point, I think you got something here, okay? You got something here. You got a transformation that's unique. You got multiple transformations because it's a triple changer. You got a base mode that isn't trash. It's a decent base mode. I even forgot to mention about the base mode, but there's actually, let me move Black Xeric off to the side. Move around, Black Xeric. Oh, Black Xeric. Bam, bam, bam. Oh, Black Xeric. Bam, bam, bam. Okay. Something else I forgot to mention is that with this one, you actually get this little platform on the back that you could have, like, Decepticons sneaking up on, and they can be back here planning they're about to jump over and attack the Autobots inside their base. You could actually do something like that, and I like the little platform on the back. So yeah, A minus is definitely the goal for the base mode. Overall rating for this guy, I'm going to give him a straight up. He gets an A. He gets an A ranking. All right, that the transformation's decent. The robot mode is really good for its size. I like it a lot more than I like Jetfire, because unlike Jetfire, this guy doesn't like to fall over. Jetfire terrifies me because his backpack is so heavy, and his legs are just so light. I never enjoyed that about him. And I've always put him against walls and stuff because I am so scared of him just falling off a shelf and breaking on my floor. And I don't want that. So I appreciate that this guy's got a big wide stance. He's got big feet. He won't fall. He is a sturdy guy in robot mode. In vehicle mode, he is an exceptional vehicle, and he goes above and beyond normal vehicles in making himself a playset vehicle. A vehicle that you can have mini-bots in deluxe scale fighting around, and they can pop in and out of him to get resupplied with ammunition or something while he's still driving. So he can be a mobile carrier unit for the smaller Autobots that are deluxe scale. And then you become a base that is for Micromasters and Legend scale things. And this base, though it's a bit confined, it still has a lot of play area and some play gimmicks added to it that make it worth the purchase. So my overall rating of Star Convoy will have to be an A. This is an A rank transformer, not an S rank transformer. He could have done better, but an A rank transformer. And for a Titan scale, that's a smaller Titan, and many people poo-poo that, but I think that the $150 Titan price point for this guy worked. I would not have bought this guy at $200. No way, Jose. This worked best at the $150 price point, and we know Christmas time's going to come around, and that $150 is going to turn to $125, maybe $110, possibly even $100. So just be aware of that. If you think the $150 is a little too much for you, you just wait for the holiday sales, and it'll drop on down. But this is dare I say, a must-have. Thank you all so much for watching today's video. I hope that you've enjoyed the show, because I've enjoyed making it. And I know Cream wasn't around today, but that's because I had all these bases, and I didn't want him messing anything up. He has a tendency to destroy. I don't want my Black Xeric falling off the table. So he was excluded from today's video shooting because I can't trust him with Black Xeric. He likes to lay on him. Thank you all again for watching, and I hope that all of you out there have a wonderful weekend. This weekend, I'm planning to make a video about doing some dishes